It's Our Story. Mark Johnson, Atlanta, Georgia.
Well, I think what you said, you know, the Ed, that he used to kind of get people to think about interdependence, meaning, like you said, none of us being totally independent. I mean, I go, when I do a presentation, sometimes I tell people, I say, how many of you here like to do everything yourself all the time? And actually a few hands go up, and I say, a therapy awaits you. I mean, if there's any person out there who really wants to do everything for themselves all the time, I truly think they'll need therapy in their lifetime. So, yeah, it does come down to interdependence. But if you notice, what drives a lot of the language a lot of times is the funding. Title VII, independent living. Has anybody taken the time to try to change that language and therefore shift the paradigm? Well, there are people who are going out there saying, we want you to fund self-direction. You know what I mean? So is it very collective? I mean, that's one of the things about it. There's a lot of us, meaning a lot of people with disabilities. There's a lot of us who have family members that don't have a disability. So collectively, there's a lot of us that are impacted by disability. But we're still not that together, that organized. I mean, you know, we still got so long to go, because, you know, if Ed was thinking this way in the late 80s, and here we are in 2005, you know, it's a nice touchy-feely conversation to talk about interdependence. You ever try to get interdependence funded? You know what I'm saying? It doesn't mean it's a bad term. It doesn't mean it shouldn't be talked about more, but I'm not strategically, you know, like we were talking before, you know, when you have a problem, what is the message you're trying to send? You know, and does that message reinforce you as an individual who's capable, who can contribute, who has relationships, whatever, or is it a message of, I need to be taken care of, or I need this so that I can take care of myself? You know, it's that word care all the time. And, you know, I think we just have a long ways to go. And a lot of it will change, not so much because all of a sudden all these non-disabled people are going to wake up one morning and go, aha. You know, it's going to be people like you going, aha. How old are you? 17? 18? And you going,
18 September.
And you've been disabled 18 years. And, you know, do you go, nobody exposed me to this kind of thought process in the first 17 years of my life. You know, where was it? Where was it in the school curriculums? Where was that instructor saying, you can write about this president or Ed Roberts? You know what I mean? And I think that you'll learn a lot of that when you meet with Steve Brown, you know, who wrote basically a school curriculum about, you know, Mr. Ed. You know, and there's a lot of movement people who are people are finding out about, and we're beginning to document their stories. And now the next phase is not just telling the stories amongst the choir, but beginning to get it into the mainstream educational systems so that people begin to challenge the way they think. And also to get more of our product, you know, like Murder Ball, not a perfect documentary, but definitely got some good messages, and people kind of going, never thought of it that way. That's interesting. You know, and just getting people to think. So I think it's a process, but if you think about all this neat stuff that you're learning, you know, where is it? What website it's on? What book? I mean, one of the first books written about this that was kind of contemporary, I don't mean it was a detailed analysis or, you know, was No Pity by Joe Shapiro. You know, and if you went into your public library and said, hey, I'd like to check out No Pity, what would happen? Not sure. There might be a couple that have it. Or we can order it. We can order it. And you go, you know what? I want you to.
The It's Our Story project is a national effort to make disability history public and accessible. Visit us at www.itsourstory.org or on the It's Our Story project YouTube channel.